Hey guys, and welcome to Car Guy 1999 Reviews. Today, thanks to Aston Martin of Boston, we have the 2026 Aston Martin DBX S. Now, 2 weeks ago to the day, I drove the DBX 707. Last week, I drove the Cayenne Turbo GT, and now I'm back in the DBX. I said in the Turbo GT that it was very driver focused and everything. The 707 is very driver focused. This takes it to the next level. This one, I have the build sheet in here. This one's a manufacturer car. So it's very, very well equipped. Magnesium wheels, gorgeous blue paint, carbon fiber roof, PPF, which is unbelievable. And it is a dark blue on blue leather. Will you take a look at that with carbon seat backs, ambient lighting? My foot, first day walking without the boots. So new exhaust, the same twin turbo V8 under the hood, except it has the turbos from the Valhalla, which has bumped horsepower. On paper it's like 15 horsepower. In practice it feels more like 30. Look at this, blue on blue with blue S stitching. Bowers & Wilkins sound. You also have soft closed doors. So let's take a peek at the window sticker here. Chimera blue over all dark night, semi-aniline leather. 717 horsepower, 4-liter twin turbo V8, 9-speed automatic, carbon ceramic brakes, launch control. I haven't tried it, it's not mine. So full leather roof panel. How do I open the sunroof? It has to be either, no, it doesn't have a sunroof, it's carbon roof. So this is just, oh, that's pretty cool. I like that. Dual sun visors, which leather and Alcantara. So let's go through the options. So base MSRP $270,500. The Bowers & Wilkins upgraded audio system is $12,700. The painted brake calipers in vivid blue is $2,000. I'm not going to go through the pricing, we'll get to it at the bottom. The black Aston Martin wings, the sculpted wings, the lightweight mesh grille, privacy acoustic glass, dark chrome / carbon interior pack, heated steering wheel, carbon pack upper, trim pack S, leather, veneer, twill carbon, and the 23-inch magnesium wheels for a total as tested price of $379,190. And you know what? I was expecting to say that is way too much money for this car. I'm not. And it takes a lot for me to say that, because $370,000 is probably more than some of the buyers on this car have paid for their first house, or what their parents paid for their first house. My grandfathers, again, this was in the 50s, paid like 50 grand on their house. They bought a house for $50,000. So yes, it's a big number, but when you take into account what the market is and what cars like this are going for, it's pretty darn cheap. Your drive mode selector is all right here. Go to GT, individual, terrain. If you're buying this to go off-roading, you're insane. Let me just put this back into sport, show you something pretty cool. So you notice the valved exhaust and the suspension. I push that again, it turns red. That means it's in Sport Plus suspension. Then comfort, back to sport. Same thing with the exhaust. Button change. We're going to do Sport Plus. Changes other than the different turbos in the DBX S. Revised gear ratios, better transmission tuning for more aggressive and quicker downshifts, quicker steering ratio, and based on equipment, about 200 pounds lighter than the 707. And what does that equate to when all is said and done? Because on paper, I said, it's not a gigantic difference. You know, the 707's a great car. I loved it. What would warrant the jump to the S? And on paper, it's kind of tough. Yeah, it's added power, stuff like that. But the real appeal comes from behind the wheel, because the quicker steering rack, the better transmission tuning, it's just made this such a fun car to drive. And I didn't think the normal 707 would get much better until I drove the S. That's gonna be a bit of a sound, right? Yep. This is what you get driving around Boston suburbs. It's Norwood, but at 4:30. So even though the steering rack is much quicker, it's not unbearably heavy or overbearing or twitchy. It's perfectly weighted, actually a little bit on the side of comfort. Because you have to think about this going in. This isn't the Vanquish or the DB12. This is their SUV. Yeah, it's not a 3-row SUV, and it's a super SUV, but it's an SUV nonetheless. This isn't built to take on track records. So the real part about this car is going to come from how it feels to commute and drive around. Well, I've been able to take this on the highway, in dead stop traffic, and around town situations. So I've driven this in pretty much every possible situation other than a track, and it's very livable. But when the traffic clears and the back road starts to get a little bit tighter, it comes into its own, and it is genuinely a fantastic car to drive. And I do love, you know, some of these high-end cars, they just start throwing everything on the dash and it's overcomplicated. This is very classy. It's not in your face, it's not over the top. And you also have CarPlay Ultra. I believe that's what it's called. I have an Android, so I can't sample it. But I do love the carbon fiber paddles. I love this 9-speed transmission. It does exactly what I want it to. Downshifts are much, yeah, they're more aggressive than the 707, but remarkably so. I didn't expect it to be as noticeable of a difference, but it is. I will say though, driving cars like this, and you guys look through the channel, I've driven tons of expensive cars. In the back of your mind, it's always there that this car is $370,000 and it's not mine. Well, even with $80,000 cars, it's in the back of my mind. So trust me, for some of you watching this video wondering if it ever gets old, it doesn't. But it does get a little nerve-wracking, to say the least. It's not just fun. Oh, it's 80% fun because it's, you know, getting to drive brand new Aston Martins. But yeah, there's that aspect that It's like, okay, I'm responsible for something that I cannot pay off for a decent amount of time. Some of you watching this video are like, well, you're just barely driving it fast. Yeah, I know. I'm not Motor Trend with $1 million budget. You know, I still love this thing though. I still love my job. The seats are very comfortable. They're very well bolstered. I haven't gone through the build sheet. I'm sure you can spec one of these to be exactly what you want. Like I said, being a manufacturer car, it's a very good build. Extended carbon, blue on blue leather. Yes, this is a very dark blue exterior. Tough to see in person, especially with the light going down. In direct sunlight, you'll absolutely see it. But this car is just downright incredible, especially, you know, for an SUV. I've always said that the DBX, in terms of the ultra SUVs, I've driven the Bentayga, I've driven obviously the Cayenne, but that I don't really think slots in, and the Urus, and I said the DBX is the best of the three. Holy crap! Okay, so the turbos have a lot of top end pull. Above 5,000 RPM, this thing is a absolute rocket ship. Well, yeah, they put the turbos from the Valhalla on this thing, so much. The turbos on this are much more focused on being in a hypercar than in an SUV, so of course it's going to have a lot better performance. Man, I would pay good money to take one of these on a track and just see what it can do. So what I was saying, the super SUVs, your Urus, your Bentayga, the DBX, I haven't driven a Puro Songway yet, but I think the DBX just mixes them all together. I had somebody ask me, they were looking at a Bentayga, and they said, what do you think of the Bentayga? I said, if you're buying a new one, you're kind of stupid, to be honest with you, because they depreciate like rocks, and every car nowadays does. But I don't think it's the best car. I think the Bentayga is bought to be driven in. The Urus is just bought by people who own Huracans and Aventadors that want a daily driver and always want to be flashy in a Lambo. The DBX are for people that actually care about drivers' cars and want the best overall car. And same basic stuff with the Urus goes with the Puro Songway. I've always said that when I see a DBX on the road, I say, okay, this person actually is sophisticated. Like, it's not just, I want a Lambo, I'm buying a Urus. Similar story with G-Wagons. Like, they're cool, but I don't personally really see the appeal. I just think they're $200,000 Wranglers. And I've driven a good amount of them, so I know they drive great and they're really cool, they're fun, but I just don't get the appeal. The DBX and every Aston Martin I've driven, I absolutely get the appeal. And that's not just because I want to be James Bond, because who doesn't want to be James Bond? This is good. This is really, really good. I'm very, very surprised with the S, and on paper, I didn't think this was going to be as big of a change over the 707 as it feels behind the wheel. Yeah, very impressive. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, share, subscribe. I'll see you all in the next one.